Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got a major message. As you are well aware, the slaughter against alternative media news network Alex Jones continues, as he's not only now taken off YouTube and Apple and Facebook and Spotify, but also Instagram and Discus and iHeartRadio and multiple other platforms have joined the bandwagon to ban Alex Jones. The only one thus far holding the fort is Twitter, because he hasn't gone against any violations. The funny part is he hasn't gone against any violations on any of the other networks either, yet he is being banned and silenced. We are losing our freedom of the internet, and we're losing it in seconds by second by second. Here's the thing, without alternative media, we will be led en masse to the New World Order and the ploys of the New World Order. We will lose our freedoms and we will end up in a 1984 style communist regime. Alternative media are the ones bringing you the real news, because quite frankly, mainstream media is bought and paid for by organizations from China, Saudi Arabia, and even our own CIA. In fact, check out this news article from Zero Hedge titled, "Here are 410 movies made under the direct influence and supervision of the Pentagon." Right there tells us that even the movies you are watching on television are controlled at the very top. Alternative media is literally one of the only outlets now standing in the gap of what's real news, what's propaganda, and what's being bought and paid for. You have to stand in solidarity. You have to contact your congressman. You have to contact these tech giants and stand up for your freedom of speech. In fact, just today, August 8th, there was a warning that was issued from a very high Christian leader, James Dobson. Take a listen to his actual message. Now, this is on charismanews.com, and it's titled, "America, Read This Urgent Warning from James Dobson." Now, the whole top half of this article recounts his trip to Nazi Germany to visit some of the concentration camps, and he was led by a professor who was involved in the situation, but he came to him and told him during the tour, this is what he said: "What the professor told us remains in my memory today. He said the Nazi success was made possible by one primary factor. It was their complete and utter control of the means of communication. There was no internet or TV at that time, of course, but what did exist reached every dimension of the nation. Radio was highly effective in those days, as were newspapers, films, speeches, books, magazines, posters, rallies, and yes, public schools and universities. Every word spoken in Germany was scrutinized, and those who rejected the Nazi lies publicly were often murdered, sent to concentration camps from which most didn't return. Terror was the stock in trade of the Gestapo. It was a common occurrence for secret police to knock on the doors of anyone who didn't conform to the party line. An offender would be dragged outside, shot, leaving terrifying images and warning for neighbors to see. It told them what would happen if they got out of line. Even children were urged to report activities and private conversations of their parents who talked at home about their opposition to the gangsters and the government. They were tortured and murdered. What a ghastly period in human history." It goes on, speaking of the children, one of the most wretched elements of the dictatorship was the complete domination of public schools. Parents had no influence on how their boys and girls were educated. In fact, all schools became training centers for these Nazi propaganda. Then he goes on to explain why is he recounting this situation. This is the most important fact. This historical account is relevant today because America and other Western nations have for decades been losing their God-given rights that defined us as a free people. We are not experiencing Nazi-like tyranny yet, but we are steadily being expected to think and speak, write, and act in a prescribed manner in conformity with what is now called political correctness. The mainstream media has become a tool to influence election and spread that belief system. Sadly, the rights handed down to us by our forefathers more than 200 years ago are gradually being overridden, ignored, contradicted, or disregarded by the courts and legislators. At last, we are less free now than we were 5 years ago. I agree wholeheartedly. Look, the Nazi-style censorship, the Nazi-style regime started with suppression and control of the media, the newspaper, the radio, the schools. Is that not what is happening in America? I am just saying, let's look at what's going on in Germany. Let's look at what happened today with the censorship of people like Alex Jones with no real reason given why. You see, when YouTube, Spotify, and all these outlets, Facebook, were asked, why did you ban him from your site? No answer was given. Here's some of the questions that they refused to answer, and I wonder why. Here's a question. What content specifically from InfoWars was found as hate speech, or what rule was broken? No answer, no answer. When was the decision made to ban them, and who exactly made that call? No answer, no answer. When asked to provide clear guidelines for other users like myself on hate speech, if we don't want to commit the same crimes, so to speak, give us a definition and a clear guideline of what those are so they're not committed by others. No answer, no answer. How do they plan to manage future demands to censor other conservative or libertarians? Meaning, what happens when people push you to censor them more? Are you going to cave in? No answer. Was there a coordinated attack? And why did all of you happen to do it around the same time? No answer, no answer. I don't know really where to go with this other than, I just stand for freedom of America. And it's a scary world that we're living in where they could just shut off my channel at the click of anything without any real crimes or knowing of what crime I've done. Thankfully, I'm still here with the channel, and I appreciate that. Hardcore. And I encourage you to subscribe to my backup channel at Lisa Haven. There's a link below. Subscribe to my newsletter, lisahaven.news. But the honest truth is, I can't help. I wish I had answers to the questions that many refuse to ask. I think the one that gave an actual answer as to why they were banned was YouTube saying violent videos. At least they were one that had at least an answer. But multiple others have no answer. And I have to question, why are other violent images allowed? I don't know. But listen, if we get rid of the freedom of speech, if that goes down, if alternative media is gone, where's the news going to come from? Propaganda? News fed by the mainstream media that's controlled, bought and paid for. I've proven how that was. Bought and paid for. Project Mockingbird is one. Multiple others. We will land in China-style censorship, and I pray that's not the case. Anyhow, I want to encourage you. This is what helps keep me on air, but check out the Trump coin. This thing is phenomenal. I know it's a very hard message that I had to deliver today, but this is amazing. It has his face and his accomplishments, and I do believe he's going to attempt to make headway on what's going on with the social media giants. I'm in prayer over it. I know his son has tweeted about it. I encourage Brad Parscale to tweet about it, but check out TrumpCoin2020.com and use the code LISA to get 50% off of that particular Trump coin. But they're for sale now. Really amazing deal on these and great for gifts and presents. 0.999 solid silver. So it's definitely something you can trade in if all goes crazy in the near future. But with that, please don't forget to like this video and share it, because really it's the only way it's going to get out on multiple platforms anymore is if you're sharing it. Share it on your web page, share it out on all your social media sites as long as we have it. And don't forget to contact your senators and let them know you're not okay with the censorship that's going on. And keep in mind, if you're voting in people at this coming election, a majority of Democrats are for full-fledged censorship of the internet. If you vote them in, you're gonna get an anti-free internet. So now is the time to make a choice. And Christians, one other warning from James Dobson in that report, he said, vote. He's disgusted by Christians out there who are not registered to vote. I have to agree with that statement. I am so distraught that so many Christians out there won't lift a finger and go to vote because they think it's already decided and fate is. One day you're going to have to answer to God for that. Get your butt out there, register, and get voting. Anyhow, thanks again. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.